I feel like we've asked this about 6 times already this season, but is this the low point?
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsulias. Locked On Yankees is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. With me, as always, is my producer, Steve Granado. Steve, I was going to ask what's going on, but we know what's going on. It's not good.
Yeah, it hasn't been good. Wasn't a good weekend. I've been saying that a lot recently. Hey, thanks so much for clicking on the show here today. We're going to talk about that game in a second, talk about the weekend in a second. Of course, we do have a preview of the upcoming series in Atlanta, get you some pitching matchups and some thoughts and some bold predictions a little bit later. There was a lot of news coming out of the Yankees minor league system here, and all minor league systems, a reshuffling of the deck of sorts. So we need to talk about a new number one prospect that the Yankees have. We'll tell you about him and how the rest stack up when we come back a little bit later on in the show. But Stacey, the 8-7 loss on Sunday in Miami. There's some good stuff in this game. Obviously, you had to get to that point in the ninth. Giancarlo Stanton with a nice RBI double. Volpe had a nice weekend, ended up hitting a 2-run shot. Ben Rortvedt hits his first Yankees homer, but they obviously melted down really badly there in the ninth inning. Just your thoughts on the meltdown.
Is it bad that I almost felt like it was coming? And Holmes has been pitching well, but I don't know. I just had a bad feeling going into the ninth inning. I don't know why. And I just was like, oh God, I don't know why I have this really awful feeling. And that first hit, it went beyond Bader, bounced right to him. He got it to second kind of fast, but not fast enough. And Bell got in there. Not Bell. Who was it? I can't remember now. And I don't know. I just, from that first hit, I thought something bad was going to happen, but I didn't think it was going to be a complete meltdown. I thought the Marlins were going to make it interesting and scary. I didn't think that actually finished the job. So I was kind of shocked by that. Because, you're heading into the ninth inning. You're up by that many runs. You're thinking, okay, cool. We took 2 out of 3 in Miami, heading into a series against the best team in baseball. And at least coming out of this, 2 out of 3 is better than only winning 1 out of 3. And then it all fell apart.
Yeah, it was Yuli Gurriel who led off with that double.
That's who it was. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and a lot of people are upset at Clay Holmes. Look, of course, he didn't want to do that. Duh.
Right.
The whole inning obviously really hinged on that ground ball back to him. That was a tough play. Yeah. That was a real tough play. That was a quick comebacker. It caught him, square in the crotch, essentially. Like that's a tough play. And obviously he didn't have a grip on that ball.
No.
I mean, it was quick. It was bang, bang. He's trying to rush it. He's trying to get the out, man. Like, he's trying to get the out. Yeah. It was a nice play there in the ninth as well from Volpe. He saved a run at that one point, that play up the middle. That was a real tough play too. So like this really just kind of turned sour quick. It felt more circumstance, like the Marlins got a chance and then they took advantage. So I think that's really what happened here. Look, I'm not trying to excuse it. But it's not as cut and dry as Clay Holmes completely just blew this.
Right.
Which a lot of people love to make it out to be. A loss is a loss. I guess it doesn't really matter either way if you completely blow it or not. It is a loss. But I think Canely was pitching well to Berger, and he was staying away. Then that changeup just came back, and I mean, you put the guy in a possible situation. Like, it's just how it goes, man. It's just how it goes. This game can be brutal sometimes, and like you said, coming out thinking winning 2 of 3, and you're going, okay, great. Especially considering how the offense performed on Sunday and how the offense performed on Friday. You ran into some trouble on Saturday, obviously. But yeah, I mean, you were 2 outs away from feeling really good about the weekend, or at least pretty darn good about the weekend, save that Saturday game. So it's like, it's so tough to go out of there the way you do.
Yeah, because as you said, if it were 2 out of 3 that they win those 2 games, Friday, Sunday, they score a total of 16 runs combined, which is like a miracle for the Yankees in one series lately.
So it would have been 17 because 3-1 on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. And, well, I mean, in those two games,
sure.
And then getting shut down by Sandy Alcantara, like, I know he hasn't been pitching well this year, but it's not that surprising that he was able to do that. Plus, Angel Hernandez was behind the plate, and he missed so many calls when the Yankees were up that, scarily enough, Sandy should have had a better game. Like, there were some calls that Angel Hernandez, really bad, that he missed on Yankee batters. I mean, he missed some for Yankee pitchers as well, but I mean, it's scary enough to think that 10 Ks complete game could have actually been better for him if there were a better umpire behind the plate. But you come out of the series losing that one game, it's so much better. But this feels like that Rockies game, which was also a Sunday, coming out of a series where you want to try and win 2 out of 3, and then you lose 2 out of 3, and it's just deflating. And then what happened when they went to Anaheim? They got swept. So what's going to happen when they go to Atlanta and face the best team in baseball? Yeah, no, I mean, it's not, obviously no one wants to head out of a series like that. I mean, you get to Luzardo on Friday, he definitely made some mistakes. He was not sharp on Friday night. Volpe, that 3-run shot, Judge goes deep in that one. RBI knocks from IKF, Oswaldo, Glaber, Higgy, like the offense was rolling. We can talk about the pitching situation, obviously, throughout the weekend. We're going to talk about that, as a matter of fact, on tomorrow's show, just more in depth, since we have a little more opportunity, because Mondays are always jam packed. Just the state of Yankees pitching is intriguing. But yeah, I mean, there's no other way to sugarcoat Sunday. There's just no. I try to give you some. I mean, obviously, again, like I said, there's some good stuff there on Sunday. Yeah. But it's so clouded by a couple batters. Yeah, that one bad. It wasn't even the whole inning that was bad. It was just those few batters that it was just.
Yeah, I mean, that's a heck of an effort at first, right? Like, they were trying, and like man. Judge and Wright. Like, I don't know. I mean, he's obviously not 100%, so that run was going to score regardless. But yeah. Yeah, it's just, man. I got a feel for them, because you feel good. You gave Cole plenty of offense. Cole did what he was supposed to do. He's did what he's been doing all year long.
This feels
the bullpen
similar
up to that point was fine. Like, there's it's just the ninth.
Yeah, this feels similar to, there was a game in Minnesota. Was that last season? Chapman blew a game within like 2 seconds. Like, the Yankees were up by a few runs, and then the Twins came back in like 3 batters and walked off. There was a game in Houston in 21, I want to say, before the All-Star break, where the Yankees were up big, and then Houston came back and beat them. Like, they were up at least 4 runs in that game, if I recall correctly. And it felt like those games. It felt just like those games. And the Rockies game wasn't that long ago, which was also a Sunday, and it just felt so similar. And it's like, we've seen this movie before. This season is so, like I said in the open, is this rock bottom? No, because every time we think there is a rock bottom, it just keeps getting lower and lower and lower. So just prepare yourselves that we're going to see worse things happening down the stretch. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. I mean, Clay Holmes hadn't given up a run in August.
Right. I mean,
he hadn't given up a run since July 16th, which is the only run he's allowed since the All-Star break. Like, and I think that brings us to a bigger point here, Stace, is if the Yankees were playing the way they're supposed to be playing, up to their potential, yada, yada, yada. If they were playing that way, this is just one of those stinkers.
Right.
But given the situation that the Yankees have put themselves into, this turns, the magnifying glass gets pulled out again. And you go, Clay Holmes, I can't believe you had one job. You had one job. It's like, yeah, well, he's done his job 5,000 times this year.
Yeah.
But, the one time he can't, it's the microscope. And that's the issue is we've said it all year, Stacey, the Yankees have to be perfect in order to win. You can't, there isn't much room for mistake this season because of just the way they pigeonholed themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. If this were a season where they not completely healthy, because no team's ever completely healthy. If a team was completely healthy, they'd be winning like 120 games a year. If most of the rotation was there from the start, if Luis Severino was even just half as bad as he's been, like if maybe his ERA was more like in the 4 range instead, and like he was kind of iffy, but not as bad as he is. And if the offense was just a tick higher, this wouldn't, it would be upsetting, because you think, oh man, what a loss, but it wouldn't be the tragedy that it is right now to Yankee fans, because it's just everything is going to be so blown out of proportion.
36 straight games without being charged with more than 1 run. What do you want? What do you want? Like, guys are allowed to have stinkers, you know, like that's going to happen. It was the first time since May 1st he had been charged with more than 1 run.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
he'd been really good.
Nails.
Yeah.
It just happens sometimes, man. And again, it's given the situation now finger gets pointed.
Yeah.
And he made a mistake. He threw the ball away.
Yeah.
It's a stinker, man. It just happens. It happens in baseball. It happens in all sports, man. But magnifying glass. Let us know how you're feeling down below. I got to imagine you're frustrated. Our subtexters were super frustrated as well. We were texting with a couple of them after the game, after that play. Man, it stings. It totally stings. Of course, while you're down in the comment section, you can drop some questions for Fan Mail Friday. Thank you guys so much for being a part of our Fan Mail Friday shows. They've been jam-packed recently, so we really appreciate it. Reply to that pinned comment down below. And again, our subtexters get priority for that, as well as a bunch of other really cool perks. Check out a 14-day free trial in the episode description. We're going to step aside. When we come back, some interesting news around minor league baseball. A reshuffling of the deck. What does that mean for the Yankees?
Here at Locked On Yankees, we think buying baseball tickets shouldn't be stressful. Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater shows near you. Steve's used Game Time for tickets for this season, and it's been extremely simple. They take all the work out of buying tickets, so all you have to do is tap a few times and you're in. Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to just moments before first pitch. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for other events too, like football, basketball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. With their lowest price guarantee and even event cancellation protection, Game Time is the best place to buy tickets in just a matter of seconds. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Back now here on Locked On Yankees, our second segment of the day. Don't forget, Yankees Braves tonight past the 7 o'clock hour. You can catch that game on SiriusXM. Download the SiriusXM app. Search for Yankees. Get yourself a free trial. And to the everydayers out there, coming up on tomorrow's show, of course, there was a lot of news about pitching stuff, and these things are happening. What does that leave with the Yankees rotation? We're going to talk about that. Do they have any other options? We're going to break that down on tomorrow's show. We just don't have enough time to do that here today. But on today's show, Stacey, we teased it a second ago. New rankings. They're here. Finally. It always takes a while. You got to get those trades done, get everybody shuffled around, the call-ups, who doesn't qualify anymore, all this stuff. The new prospect rankings are here, and the Yankees have some changes. So, of course, these are according to MLB Pipeline. Jasson Dominguez, who was obviously the number 1 prospect after Volpe got called up, is now number 2. So he slides down a hair. Dominguez obviously has had a really slow start this year. Really slow start for Somerset. He only played a couple of games at the end of last season for the Patriots. Struggled at the plate this year. Struggled with power, but he has played much better since July. And he's really seemed like he's figured out Double-A pitching. I imagine he's going to stay there for the remainder of the season, unless there's a lot more movement. But I don't think they're going to try and rush him to Triple-A. Dominguez is now the number 79 overall prospect in baseball. So good to see Dominguez starting to play better. But he definitely had a slow start to the season. Everson Pereira, who's been steady all year, he's now the number 3 prospect in the system, 80 overall in all of baseball. He's been playing well with Scranton Wilkes-Barre this season in his first full year at AAA, first year at all in AAA. So good to see Everson Pereira continue to develop and really jump up the rankings here. Austin Wells did fall to number 8 in the system. He was up to 2 earlier in the year. I believe might have been 4. My brain's melting all these guys together. Doesn't matter much. He does fall. Wells was injured to start the year. Played some rehab games, I believe, with Tampa, and then ended up jumping up to Somerset and immediately made an impact and has been playing well this season. So I think it's just the injury that kind of had him shuffle down a little bit. George Lombard Jr. is now the number 6 prospect. He has yet to make his affiliate debut. We haven't seen him just yet, so we're still waiting on him. We have seen Rock Riggio this week make his debut, by the way, with the Tampa Tarpons. We're anticipating Lombard Jr. to potentially be with them as well, so we'll see how that all shakes out. We're still waiting on George Lombard Jr. He was the first rounder the Yankees selected. The new number 1 prospect, Stacey, Spencer Jones. He's the 78th overall prospect in Major League Baseball. If you don't know Spencer Jones, big kid, massive kid, 6'7", left-handed bat, plays the outfield. And look, I think with him being the number 1 prospect in the system, that comes with some caveats. His numbers this season obviously don't jump off the page. He's batting .264, on base .333. He is slugging .449, but like the home run numbers aren't necessarily there. As of this recording, he's hit like 12 bombs in 92 games, I believe, is the official numbers for him. Overall this season, his strikeouts have been higher. His walks have been down, but that's starting to sparse out the opposite direction. So he's starting to walk more. He's starting to strike out less. So like things are going better for him. Remember, he was a first rounder last year. Like he's still gives us his first full year in professional baseball. He's coming out of Vanderbilt. It's really the projectability for this guy. He is huge. He is a big kid. If you've seen any footage of this guy, he is carbon copy, mirror image of Aaron Judge. He is a massive dude, looks just like him, built just like him, and that obviously has a lot of scouts very, very happy because, you know, Aaron Judge. Some scouts have compared him.
Pressure, though.
No pressure. A lot of it for Spencer Jones, a lot of people have been saying about him is that he's built correctly, not just physically, but his mental capacity, the way he approaches the game, and he's built for New York is what people really like about him. So he's got good all-field power. He's got good speed. Like, it's really the projectability for him. It's really getting adjusting to professional hitting or professional pitching, rather, the everyday grind, those types of things. Like that's I probably got to imagine is why those numbers aren't extremely off of the page for you. But sky's the limit for a guy like this. Everyone's happy about this kid. Everybody has good things to say about him. So we'll see how he progresses. But he's now the number 1 prospect in the Yankee system, which is obviously a huge, huge honor. Some guys, Stacey, that I feel like are just not getting enough love, even considering. We've talked about this guy on 4, 5, 15 different occasions this season. Just talked about him last week on Friday's show. Drew Thorpe. Now number 5 in this system. Drew Thorpe got called up on Tuesday. He made his AA debut on Friday. Whatever. 8 innings, shutout baseball, 2 hits, 9 strikeouts, didn't walk anybody. Drew Thorpe has been pitching ridiculously. His changeup was looking really, really good. He got 6 swings and misses on that. He got 16 swinging strikes in those 8 innings of shutout baseball against the Rumble Ponies. He is unreal. And I think the Yankees, weirdly enough, might have a real diamond in the rough here. Thorpe is not a guy that, I mean, he was drafted high, but wasn't like, wasn't the first rounder and anything like that. He gave up a leadoff single on Friday, then retired 20 in a row. 20 in a row. Then he gave up a single with 2 outs in the 7th, which Jasson Dominguez threw that runner out at second base. So thank you, Jason. 3rd time this season that Drew Thorpe has gone 8 or more scoreless innings. He is the only pitcher in minor league baseball to do that this year. He finished that start with 147 strikeouts on the year. That's highest strikeout total in all of minor league baseball. All of minor league baseball. Just unreal. Just unreal. This guy has really taken over. He has performed basically all year. He's had a couple of games where he's given up like 5 runs in like 3 innings or whatever. He's had a couple of bad games, but overall, Thorpe's stuff has been playing incredibly. Home, road, night, day, weekend, weekday, doesn't matter. This guy is just pitching out of his mind. And speaking of guys who are pitching out of their mind, Richard Fitz just had another incredible start this week. I just wanted to throw that out there because Somerset pitching. Richard Fitz is ho-hum.
Top friend of the podcast.
Friend of the pod. Friend of the pod. Top 10 in minor league baseball in strikeouts as well.
Wow.
Just great season. And then, Stacey, there was one other thing that kind of happened this weekend that I felt was interesting. The Rail Riders, who, by the way, had a S-tier top 10 bobblehead giveaway of Oswaldo Cabrera and Oswald Peraza, office themed. Looks great. Loved it. Great pictures with them. They did like a reveal video with them. It's the cutest thing on the planet. Loved it. But Rail Riders did something different here. They put Franchy Cordero into the leadoff spot on Friday. They also did so on Saturday. He was back in the cleanup spot on Sunday. So whatever. But interesting. It was something they just seems like they just kind of not spur of the moment, just kind of did. Ended up hitting 3 homers. Had 2 homers on Friday night and the homer on Saturday. So I don't know. The Yankees still, to my brain, don't really have a leadoff hitter. I feel like it's been a revolving door all year. So I don't know if this is something to keep your eye on moving forward. But it is something that happened. Franchy Cordero did lead off, and he has not done a lot of that in Major League Baseball. He's only done it 12 times in the bigs, but he's done it like crazy in the minors, like throughout his career at all levels. So maybe something they toy with moving forward. Again, he didn't hit bat in the cleanup or leadoff spot on Sunday, so I don't know if that was just a fluke, just trying to change things around. But it clearly worked. 3 homers in 2 games in the leadoff spot. I'm curious to see if that might be something that Shelly Dunkey keeps doing. Like, hey, let's keep putting you there and see if that ends up leading to the majors. So I don't know. Of course, the Yankees obviously looking for continuous sustained offense at the big league level. So especially out of that leadoff spot, I don't know, maybe Cordero comes in as a dark horse candidate. So, but yeah, it was a big week in Yankees farmland, especially with these new rankings. And of course, Drew Thorpe doing what Drew Thorpe does. Let us know how you're feeling about all these Yankees prospects. Of course, I know you guys love this part of the show and love this part of the week. We love doing it. We love Minors Monday, and we love talking about our minor league affiliates. We're going to take one last break. When we come back, Braves, Yankees, everything you need to know when we come back. Back here on Locked On Yankees, don't forget, Braves, Yankees tonight, 7:20, first pitch from the ATL. You can listen to it on Sirius XM with John and Susan. Stace tonight, Clark Schmidt, Max Fried set to toe the rubber in that one. Clark Schmidt, incredible. What is it, 16 in a row of just incredible starts, whatever the stat I keep pushing out every time Clark Schmidt pitches.
Yeah. But, it's the Braves, and, they have some scary dudes in that lineup. Matt Olson. Do people realize how many home runs that man has? He's up to 42. Is it still 42?
I thought it was 41. Thought it was 41 last I checked, but okay, maybe you're right.
I think it's 42 now, which is insane when you think about it, because he's doing it quietly. Like, it's not like a thing where people are like, oh, Matt Olson, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, Matt Olson, holy cow, he has 42 home runs.
Isn't it crazy that it could come down to NL MVP goes between Freeman and Olson? Like, Freddie Freeman has also quietly put together one amazing, remarkable season in LA. Yeah. It's one of those strange. It's just a strange season all around. I'm hoping that Clark does okay. I can't believe I just called him by his first name. I hope that Schmidt does okay against the Braves. And if he doesn't, don't get mad. It's the Braves. They're the best team in baseball. And if he doesn't have a Clark Schmidt-like start and he has a little bit of trouble, don't get angry with him. He's been doing very well for the Yankees. And, I don't want to see any mean things being said about Clark Schmidt. Say nice things about Clark Schmidt. 3 runs or less has been the mark for him. He hasn't had a scoreless outing as a starter since May 31st against Seattle at T-Mobile Park. He's had very few. Actually, that's the only one. It's his only scoreless outing. So, you got to anticipate some runs getting put up on the board, but he has been giving the Yankees a chance to win every time out. Again, we're going to talk more about the rotation on tomorrow's show in the second segment tomorrow, but Luis Severino gets the ball on Tuesday against Bryce Elder, and then Randy Vasquez gets the start against Charlie Morton in the finale on Wednesday. I mean, this rotation, which was struggling recently before, is now blown up. It's interesting to see how quickly you run out of racetrack.
Yeah. Before this weekend against the Mets, the Braves starters had a run of 6 games where they gave up at least 4 runs. Some gave up 5 runs. One gave up 6 runs. They didn't lose all 6 of those games, but it was just like in a couple of those games, the offense had to come back and do something. And it was just a very strange run of games for them. And they seem to be getting back on track. The Mets kind of helped them this weekend. So we'll see how Fried, Elder, Morton do this week against the Yankees. I mean, Fried is unbelievable, really.
Yeah.
You know, he just was coming back from the injury that he had. And, you know, the Braves were already good. Like, they were already great without, you know, and now they're reinforced with him. And it's like, wow, they're the team to beat, basically. Like, they're the ones that probably have a good road in the playoffs, but you never know because, you know, like last year, some like wild card team could knock some big team out, but I would think they're the favorites to go pretty far.
I think that's pretty clear at this point. A Braves Orioles World Series would be interesting. That would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
If the Dodgers could always be right there with them. It's just, they always could. Stacey, 3-game set in Atlanta. Not going to be easy. There's no denying that, especially giving Sevy on Tuesday. Who knows what you're going to get out of Randy Vasquez on Wednesday. But do you have bold predictions here for this 3-game series in Atlanta?
Okay. Sevy pitches 5 innings. He lasts 5 innings, and he only gives up 3 runs.
I'm not going to say anything to that. I'm just going to let you bask in that one for a second. I'm going to go offense. I like the way Volpe's been swinging it lately. I'm going to zero in on Wednesday. Anthony Volpe homers off of Charlie Morton. Morton hasn't been pitching very well this season as a whole. Volpe's swinging it better.
I know, but every time we say that about a pitcher, this guy hasn't been pitching well this season, and he goes up against the Yankees and he throws 8 shutout innings.
Yeah, but I like what I've seen out of Volpe.
He's Volpe. Let's give kudos quickly to the Yankees for not sending him down, keeping him up, because he's getting there. He's doing stuff, and it's been fun to watch the development, and I feel like he's definitely here to stay.
Yeah. Again, remember your big, bold prediction that he will once, at some point in his career, be traded by the Yankees. Don't ever forget that bold prediction.
Look, it's more the front office, not him. It's nothing against him. It's ownership and front office. Let's just make that clear.
Totally. You guys know how we do it on our Monday shows. So long as the series is starting, our bold predictions. Drop yours in the comment section here on YouTube. Of course, you can also leave your questions for Fan Mail Friday. That's every Friday on Locked On Yankees. To the everydayers out there coming up on tomorrow's show, we got to talk about this rotation. Is there diamonds in the rough in AAA that can help things out? Are there big moves the Yankees might make? Are they going to wave the white flag because of this? We're going to break it all down on tomorrow's show, so make sure you hit subscribe and so you don't miss it. That's going to do it for today's Locked On Yankees. I'm Steve Granado.
And I'm Stacey Gotsulias. We'll see you tomorrow.